Hello and welcome to this NDTV special. From being a quote-unquote rebel judge who joined that unusual press conference of justices to becoming Chief Justice of India, to facing sexual harassment charges, to joining the Rajya Sabha, Chief Justice of India, former Ranjan Gogoi, has had a roller coaster journey, and now he's written a book, Justice for the Judge, a title which itself has sparked its own set of questions, and he now joins me on NDTV. Thank you very much indeed, Justice Gogoi, for joining us.
Thank you, thank you.
Justice for the Judge is the title of the book, which somehow seems to imply injustice was done to you, while some may ask that it was by your own choice that you chose to join the Rajya Sabha 4 months after retiring. You reportedly presided over a case where you yourself were the accused in the case of sexual harassment. So what is the injustice done to you? Some may argue the injustice was done to others.
I'll call you Srinivasan.
Yes.
I don't think you read my book.
I did go through it.
Going through it and reading it are two different things.
Okay.
And perhaps I don't blame you.
It did come at the last minute, I have to say.
It's come at the last minute and you may not have had the time. It's not about justice or injustice to me or to any particular judge. I tell you a secret, which I have not shared with any journalist. The original title of the book was Justice for Judges.
Okay.
Right? And once you go through my book, you would realize
Right.
that the question asked is the system just
Right.
for people who give justice?
Okay.
Look at it that way. It's not
Okay.
a question of individual instances of injustice perceived or felt.
Okay, fair enough. Let's jump into what has been the most contentious part of your tenure, which you tackle squarely in the book, which was the charges of sexual harassment, which was leveled against you by a junior member of the Supreme Court. Now, you actually, when the charges came, you convened a hearing which you presided over. Doesn't that violate every principle of natural justice, that you preside over a hearing where you yourself are the accused?
In my book, you have two things so far as this chapter is concerned.
Yes.
You have the order passed on 20th of April
Yes.
in the bench of which I was a member.
Yes.
I didn't sign the order. If you have read that order, the order is a kind of an advice to the media to be restrained in reporting the incident.
But
One
before
sec, one sec,
yeah,
one
sure,
sec.
Sure.
So that is the order. There is no question of any effective order being passed which has the effect of exonerating me, as people later
Okay,
have
I'll come
termed
to the
it.
order in a second, but I'm saying just starting off with the first principles, that you convene a
I
hearing.
was coming to that.
Yeah,
As-
where you yourself are the accused.
I was coming to that.
Yeah.
In my book, there is a sentence that in retrospect, perhaps my participation in the bench
Right.
was not correct. I mentioned it. In hindsight,
That it was a mistake.
it's mentioned there. Right. It was not correct. But then there is also a line in the book.
Yes.
Chief Justices don't descend from heaven. 40 years of reputation
Yes.
built up over hard work
Sure.
is sought to be destroyed. You are required to take a call. You take a call, some part of it goes wrong.
Sure.
Right?
But isn't this...
One
isn't
minute.
This, yeah.
1 minute.
Sure,
Mr.
sure, sure.
Srinivasan. 1 minute.
Yes.
Should it go on and on and on and on? You preside over a bench,
Yes.
right? In the book I say, in hindsight, perhaps it was not correct.
Right.
Did that bench pass any effective order which has the effect of deciding the allegations against me?
No. But when you say effective order, even if you see what the the nature of that hearing and the order was, where you say that the media should consider whether wild and scandalous allegations that undermine the judiciary should be reported on.
Yeah.
Doesn't that already in a way prejudice the perception of what those allegations were? That they were wild and scandalous?
Why? It is a kind of an advisory order that when you are reporting wild and scandalous allegations, before you report, exercise due care and caution.
But I'm saying
that is how I read the order.
No, but I'm saying, how does anyone know whether they're wild or scandalous or not? They may be genuine. But this already seems to infer that they're wild and scandalous, thereby thereby prejudicing the possibility of a fair outcome.
No, Mr. That is another way of looking at it. What the bench was trying to say, that allegations that are wild and scandalous should be reported with due care and caution. That's all. Look at it. Reading the order, do you come to the conclusion that the allegations leveled against the CGI are wild and scandalous? Is that the purport of the order?
I'm saying that seems to be the inference.
One minute.
Yes.
The bench could have passed an order. The media is restrained from reporting. The bench didn't pass that order. Why? The bench could have said there are allegations leveled against the CGI of sexual harassment. Media will not publish it. Then where would you be?
No. But Justice Gogoi, but that can't be a defense. The ideal situation, the ideal scenario, hold on.
No, one second. I disagree with you.
Okay.
There is no defense.
Right.
There is no defense.
Okay.
I don't have to defend anything.
Okay.
Right. Whatever I had to say, I have said it. Right. You are capable of interpreting A into X, and I am capable of interpreting X in A.
Fact is that the committee that was set up, the complainant appeared before the committee, but after 3 hearings she withdrew because she said, and this was a committee made up only of Supreme Court judges, there were no external participants, as you say, as per your own rules, because she felt intimidated and nervous in the presence of 3 judges of the Supreme Court and without having a lawyer or a support person. Now you can turn around and say this is the procedure of the court, that there can't be an external person in the normal course. But when you have an unprecedented situation and a Chief Justice himself stands accused, shouldn't there have been an attempt to break from the norm? Because how can judges who are technically junior to you investigate you?
I would have been very happy if Srinivas Jain had been a part of that committee. Because I assume that Srinivas Jain is a fair man.
All right.
But when you have a law, Srinivas, apply it uniformly across the board. Your law doesn't change on a case-to-case basis. If you change the law from a case-to-case basis, there will be anarchy in this country.
It didn't seem very effective in this case. The complainant walked out saying she felt intimidated.
And the complainant worked out, therefore you break the law and you constitute a committee of outsiders which is unknown to law. This is very dangerous. This is very dangerous.
I don't know if it's dangerous because it's the norm in all other scenarios.
No.
Under the prevention, as you know, under the POSH rules, typically sexual harassment committees consist of outsiders to ensure fairness. But I put another proposition to you. Could you have stepped aside for the period of the investigation?
Why should I? You bring tomorrow Srinivas manufactures an allegation, right? And I use the word manufacture with all responsibility. It's not very easy. It's not very difficult to do that. And he files it sends it by post to the Supreme Court, and you expect the CGI to stay away from work? Is that how institutions should function, according to the media?
No, I'm saying in the interest of fairness, to ensure that there is no
don't be subjective about
undue pressure or influence, no?
Don't be subjective about your interpretation of fairness. Don't be subjective.
How is it subjective?
Fairness is what the law dictates.
Okay.
If you are unhappy with the law,
right,
change it. Change it. If tomorrow you think that for an offence of murder, capital punishment is wrong, change it. There should not be life imprisonment.
No, how can I change it? I'm just a journalist.
You are the media. You can voice your opinion. This law is inadequate. It is not correct. it needs to be changed. Change
Right.
it.
Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the other question which you tackle in your book, which has also been a question that was raised about you. That is, you're joining the Rajya Sabha just 4 months after you retired. You said that you were approached and you immediately agreed. You didn't think there was any problem with that? That 4 months ago you were presiding over cases where the government is a party, and then you joined the Rajya Sabha at the behest of the same government?
Is that the question?
Yes.
Anything else? No.
No, there will be more, but this is the initial question.
No.
Yes.
Okay. How would you have reacted if I had become the chairperson of the Human Rights Commission 1 month after my retirement?
It's
One sec. How would you have reacted?
problematic.
There is one judge of the Supreme Court who at the farewell function, he was still a judge till midnight,
Right.
received his appointment order as chairman of a tribunal.
Yes.
No comments? No criticism?
How do two wrongs make a right, Justice Gogoi?
No.
Yes.
Is it a wrong?
Yes,
Is
I
it?
think
Okay.
it's deeply problematic
Okay.
to not have
Okay.
any kind of gap, cooling off straight away from one to the other
So
is problematic.
So the cooling off is the answer, is it?
Well, there could be other ways, but
the
certainly
cooling off
4
is the
months,
answer.
by all accounts,
Yeah. So
you did find
according to you,
problematic. No, I'm asking you.
No, I'm answering your question.
Yes.
Of course, you're asking me.
Yes.
According to you, post-retirement benefits, forget the Rajya Sabha for a moment, post-retirement assignments should be only after a particular period of time.
As I said, there are
Correct.
different protocols.
Right.
Right?
What happens to those tribunals which are required to be manned by former judges? They remain vacant till the cooling off period is over. What happens to the cases before the tribunals? Therefore, the media,
Yes.
Srinivas,
Yes.
should project a case.
Okay.
You project cases, should project a case, change the law. The tribunals should be manned by sitting judges, not by retired judges.
But in
Change
the case
it.
of the Rajya Sabha,
1 minute, we are not
there's
here
no,
on
it's
Rajya
not a
Sabha, we are on
it's not a
tribunals.
tribunal, right? There was no compulsion
No, why I'm mentioning the tribunal is this.
for you to have said that yes, because there's a tribunal that needs to be manned.
Right. What is this magic about Rajya Sabha? I would have been better off. I would have been better off in terms of pay, emoluments, etc.,
Sure.
if I had been a chairman of a tribunal, because I'm not taking a penny from the Rajya Sabha.
Well, the Rajya Sabha is not something to dismiss. It's a very important position. You're a member of Parliament.
Yeah.
So it does come
is
with
the chairman of the
it
Human
does
Rights,
come with attendant
is the chairman
privileges.
of the Human Rights Commission any less important?
No, I'm saying I don't think it's one is more or less important than the other. But the point simply is whether it is in terms
Right.
of propriety.
Like the
In terms of propriety.
Like the sexual harassment issue.
In terms of propriety, is that the correct
Rajya
thing to
Sabha
do?
by me is an obsession. Is an obsession.
By whom?
Right. Is an obsession of certain people
Okay.
whose voice you are now projecting.
But you say in your book that
Yeah.
you took it because you wanted to.
I
You
wanted
jumped
to
at it
do
because you wanted to
certain
do
things, yes,
public
yes,
service.
yes,
You wanted
yes.
to
Yes.
promote the judiciary.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about your home state.
Yeah.
But have you been able to do that? What is your own, I was just looking at the data of your record of attendance in the Rajya Sabha,
Wow.
of a total of about 68 sittings
Yeah.
since you joined, you only signed the register on 6 days.
Yeah. Correct. So you are, yeah.
So I'm saying if the
Yeah.
idea was to join to
Yeah.
do public service, then
This
why
is-
is your
this is-
attendance record less than 10%?
This is what is wrong. You see, you ignore the fact that for 1 or 2 sessions, I had submitted a letter to the House, the chairman
Okay.
of the House,
All right.
saying that because of COVID, on medical advice, I am not attending the session.
Okay.
Right? Do you know that up to a particular point of time, the last session, perhaps it was the before the winter session,
All right.
session,
Yes.
you could enter the Rajya Sabha only after RT-PCR,
Okay.
right? And personally, I didn't feel very comfortable going there. And the pandemic is on, and even today, I don't feel very comfortable about going to the Rajya Sabha.
Okay,
because-
so it's a pandemic.
1 minute.
Yes.
Because those social distancing norms have been enforced, right? They are not being observed,
Right.
right? The sitting arrangements I don't find very comfortable.
Right.
But that's not the point. The point is, I go to the Rajya Sabha when I feel like, when I think there are matters of importance on which I should speak.
Okay.
Right.
Have you been able to ask any questions?
And I am a nominated member.
Right.
I am not governed by any party whip.
Sure.
So, right. And therefore, whenever the bell rings for party members to come, that doesn't bind me.
Okay.
I go there at my choice,
All right.
and I come out at my choice.
Okay.
I am an independent member of the House.
But to the suggestion that the Rajya Sabha seat was a reward for the fact that under your tenure, a series of judgments that were passed were all in favor of the government. Whether it was Ayodhya, whether it was to do with the RAFALE case, giving a clean chit to the government, Sabrimala referring it to a wider bench, putting the Kashmir habeas corpus petitions into cold storage. To that you would say what?
RAFALE, you refer to a judgment, Gogoi's judgment, X's judgment, Y's judgment. Right. If it is Gogoi's judgment, what about the other two judges?
Right.
Right. Now don't turn your papers. Listen to me, please.
I'm listening to you.
You see, I in court also, I felt that undivided attention is the best form of attention.
No, you have my full attention.
Now, when you say that RAFALE favored the government and Gogoi favored the government, what you mean imply is that the other two judges also have favored the government? RAFALE is unanimous? Right? Are you not, is that not an insinuation against the two judges who are still sitting judges of the Supreme Court? Is it not a reflection on the institution?
Okay, so coming to Ayodhya, in the book, you pushed photographs of a group of your judges. The bench went to celebrate after the verdict. You
Not
went
celebrate.
to a hotel.
Not celebrate.
You went for a dinner.
No, not celebrate.
Okay, but you
When
went
you
out
go
for dinner.
for dinner with your friends,
Yes,
at times don't you feel like tasting outside food?
but it was in the aftermath of the verdict where you felt that you had
Naturally.
managed to pass a verdict on a very contentious
No,
issue.
these are words that I don't appreciate. Managed to pass a verdict. What are these words used?
You said the job.
No, Srinivas.
You said the job was done.
No.
You used it like the job was done.
The job is done. Why are you picking up a sentence from here and there? Look at the enormity of the task that was taken up by the bench.
You
Right?
don't think there's something not celebratory about a group of judges
No.
having a dinner, posting a photograph about something as contentious as Ayodhya?
Each of these judges have worked and worked and worked for 4 months.
Sure.
And that was a huge challenge.
Okay.
What as the Chief Justice I felt at every moment is what would happen if to the reputation of the institution if this judgment doesn't come. How do I compensate the loss of 4 months of judicial time of 5 judges if I can't deliver the judgment?
Okay.
And the judgment gets ready and delivered, and 5 of us go and have dinner, and you use words like manage the judgment. So you're celebrating the judgment.
I didn't say manage.
No. This is wrong. This is not acceptable.
You don't think it was a celebratory dinner at all?
My judges and all of us worked so hard. We thought we'll take a break.
Okay.
Right? And that is we have committed something which is not permissible.
No, you don't think it comes across as insensitive, especially to those who may have lost the judgment and who may have felt that may have actually felt very pained by the outcome.
Mr. Srinivasan,
Yes.
as a media person, you cause a lot of pain to a lot of people. You know that. You cause a lot of pain to a lot of people.
What does that have to do with my question?
You don't go for dinner, right? You don't eat. You mourn. Sitting at home, this interview, that interview, this statement, that statement, based on half facts, untruths, half truths, have caused pain to others. You mourn for the rest of the day.
Sir,
you don't.
Is that a parallel between judges?
You think about
after
it.
a contentious verdict,
answer that question for yourself.
going for dinner and posting a photograph?
Judges
Is that the same thing?
completing a 4-month hearing and going for dinner is a sin.
Okay.
Right? And the media and a media person doing his job and going for dinner.
I
is
didn't
not
use
sin.
the word sin, sir. Now you're putting words in my mouth.
What? Srinivas, come on. We understand what you mean.
Okay.
Right.
But on Ayodhya.
It's good to put searching questions.
Right.
Right. But But a word of uncalled for,
Yes.
uncalled for,
Yes.
and definitely unsolicited
All right.
advice.
Yes.
Be fair.
Okay. Last question on Ayodhya.
Yeah.
The question about how the verdict, I'm not getting into the granular details of it because it's a very long verdict. But essentially, there is a view that the court said that the destruction of the mosque was a criminal act, an egregious criminal act, but ended up effectively rewarding or awarding the land to the very parties that were involved in the destruction. How is that
I have written in my book.
a fair outcome?
No.
Yeah.
I have written in my book.
Yes.
Retired judges
Hmm.
do not defend their judgments.
Okay.
And there is one more line.
Hmm.
They only criticize the judgments of others. I refuse to answer that question.
Okay.
Whatever there is in the judgment is there.
Is the judgment. You're not getting into
No, I'm
whether
not
it's fair
getting
or
into
unfair.
it. It's not proper. It's not proper.
Okay. Because you've spoken about so much
No,
else, so that's why.
Yeah, whatever there is to say in the judgment, I've said.
Okay.
If there is something wrong with it, take the legal route.
Okay.
Take the
So in
legislative
conclusion
route.
then, Justice Gogoi, speaking to you, it seems that whether it was to do with all of those issues that we came up with, whether it was the sexual harassment charges, the Rajya Sabha entry, all of it, you have no regrets. Your conscience is clear.
Of course, my conscience is clear. Of
Okay.
course. Is there any doubt about it? Do you doubt it?
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah. Do you doubt that there is anything why my conscience should not be clear?
So if you had a chance to
If
go
I-
back in
if-
time, you do
look-
the same things again.
Look, no, that is not a fair question.
Okay.
That's not a fair question. That I'll repeat. I don't know. Life is uncertain. If the occasion arises,
You may have a rethink.
no, I may not. I may have a second term in the Rajya Sabha. I told yesterday at the book release function, don't try and cow me down with words.
You may even have a second term in the Rajya Sabha if it comes
Yes, if
to it.
required.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
1 minute.
Yes.
If I were to be cowed down by words, criticism, and uncomplimentary, uncharitable statements made
Yes.
from time to time for the last 2 years,
Right.
I would have gone into hiding in Assam.
Right.
I would have not been face to face with you. I would
Okay.
not have written that book.
Well, at least I appreciate the fact that you came out and you took our questions. Justice Gogoi, we're out of time, but a pleasure talking to you.
Is that all that you would like to ask me?
Yes.
There were so many other things that you don't ask me. We are still on camera. Let me tell you.
Right.
Sexual harassment,
Yes.
RAFALE, Ayodhya, Rajya Sabha.
Yes.
Right. For 2 years,
Yes.
4 stories. Next time we meet, I expect the media to have a 5th story.
Of course.
This
we
has
will.
this has become stale.
We will.
And please publish this.
Okay.
Or please play this part of my statement.
All right. Okay.
Otherwise, I will make a statement in some other channel.
Okay. Okay. I
Please do
will
that.
play this statement.
Right. Next time I meet Srinivas Jain,
We will talk about other
We will
things.
talk about a 5th scandal.
Okay,
Not the 4 oft-repeated scandals.
All right. Okay.
Thank you very much. The
Thank you
pleasure
very
is
much,
all
Justice
mine.
Gogoi. Thank you.